So here she's got a virtual tour starting out about RE/MAX and not about the house. So let's take a look at if you can walk through. Oh, nope, it's just a slideshow image tour. So you can't do anything other than look at the same pictures. And this is on YouTube. So poor. They really need to step up their game to, real life. So when you're on here and you go, like if you go to my listing, boom, 3D view. Not to mention I got 64 pictures of the house, but you click on that 3D view. And bam, there you are with Matterport. You're right inside of it. This lets you go through the house, self-paced, real-time. Look at what's going on. Can you see how that's going to benefit your sale? Can you see how people from out of the area, you want to look at the light? Want to look at the light? Look at the corner. Zoom in. Zoom right into the light. Check it out. Zoom back out to the room. You want to run upstairs, you can do that. Oh yeah, check this out. Draws your eye in. What is that? Floor mounted electrical. There you go. You see it right there. Want to look at the floors? Zoom into those wood floors. That's some nice, real wood floors. Look at that steel. You can see the markings on the steel. That's just crazy. All open, staircase. Anyway, I think you guys get the idea, and then all you do is click to go back to Realtor.com. But that lead isn't going to come to me. If you go in here and you want more information, it's not going to come to me. It's going to come to whoever bought those new leads from that area. So this is where you get all the information and details. Full view detail page. So glad you guys took the time to check out what we've got going on. Uh, Buyers and sellers, if you're looking to buy, you can win, or shouldn't even say win, you get a free vacation, whether it be a cruise or a Las Vegas getaway or a 1 week resort stay when you're working with Brokers Realty currently. So, that's really cool. It's our way of giving back to our clients. So if you're looking to buy or sell a house, feel free to get in touch with us and we can help you out. Just going to scroll down here and look at any new updates for requests or questions. Let's refresh this page real quick, see what else we've got going here. Okay, so a lot of people have been talking about the legislation in regards to home buyers. I truly don't think that that's going to be an issue in any way. Um, why? Well, I think that at the end of the day, um, not too many average middle class Americans are spending $250,000 in interest or $500,000 in interest. Um, but there's always that chance. Pull this as There we go. Now you guys can hear me again. Headphones were starting to really get to me here. And I think we can talk just fine without the headphones. We haven't had any callers calling in tonight yet. Um, but let's look at the Obama or the Trump tax cut. So Trump tax cuts. I'm going to switch over to the display here a little bit. So here you have the Trump tax cut. So they're saying that it proposes a new limit of 500,000 from the current 1 million for home mortgage interest deductions. With that being said, the average middle class American is not collecting paying interest of $500,000. So the reality of that being a deduction issue is slim to none. The average homeowner in Pennsylvania in Lancaster County
is buying on average $181,000 home, and they're paying $140,000, $150,000 on interest on that home. If they lived in it for the entire 30-year loan. Most people live in the house for 5 or 6 years, so they've paid in 10 grand in interest, sell it, take their profits, buy a bigger home, live in it for 5 to 7 years, 10 years, paid in $15,000, $20,000 in interest, sell it, buy another home, on and on and on again. And they're using those proceeds to put down on their next home. So they're paying that mortgage down. Most people aren't doing 100% financing. Just what it is. Most people aren't doing a 3.5%. I mean, a lot of your first-time home buyers, yes, they are your predominant 3.5% downers, your 0% downers, your 5% downers. But the second-time home buyer is generally pulling $20 to $40, sometimes $60,000, $80,000 in equity out of their home, depending on how long they live there, putting it down on their larger home then, so they're not paying interest on those proceeds. That's coming right off the top, so they're back into a mortgage similar to where they were at, but with a larger home. And then once you hit that, third house or so, and you're into, and you've paid down a little bit, a lot of times people then start downsizing. So now they're at that $300,000 or $400,000 home, and they only owe $200,000 on it or $250,000 on it, and they sell it, and they're pulling that $150,000 proceeds out of that house, and they're dumping that down on their downsize home, which might be $225,000. Putting $150,000 on it, now they only got a $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 mortgage, and they pay on that for a few years or pay that off, and then their retirement home, they're buying free and clear that's even smaller. Some folks live in that large home for a long time. But I'll tell you that most people wind up keeping that large home and paying through the wazoo on taxes and everything else, and they don't need it. It's a keeping up with the Joneses type of thing. Millennial buyers in expensive markets should be most affected by the disappearing homeownership incentives. There's nothing that's hurting the millennials. They're not going to pay $500,000 in taxes in the next 10 years, or tax on homeowners' interest in the next 10 years. Just not going to happen. Mortgage size of $1 million home would be $800,000, assuming the buyer makes a down payment of 20%, 10% under the proposed bill, deduction of the first $500,000 loan, leaving them a shoulder rest on the principal. So again, for them to even create a scenario, for the government to even create a scenario where this doesn't work, you got to buy a $1 million home. Are most middle-class Americans living in $1 million home? No, I don't think so. So, folks, really, if you've got to buy a $1 million home to see that the tax decrease is going to affect you on paying some additional taxes or not have as large of a tax break, do you think that $1 million homeowner is middle-class America? Probably not. Seeing let's look at this. What are the guidelines for middle class? Guidelines. So middle class America is listed as the definition. Middle class is adults with a size-adjusted household income between $30,000 and $100,000 for a family of 3. Really? So back when my daughter was growing up, my household was a family of 3, and our adjusted income wasn't at that point over $100,000. So but it was over 30,000. So we would have been considered middle class at that point. Wow. So middle class America, you get your calculator, for financing purposes, top of middle class America, $100,000 household income times 3 means middle class America is buying roughly a $300,000 home. Roughly. Could it be a little bit more, a little bit less? Yes. But it's not a $1 million home. Let's look at $1 million home. Divide. So to buy unless you got a lot of money that you're putting down, to buy a $1 million home, to get financing for it, your household income is going to be somewhere north of $300,000 a year. North of $300,000 a year. Unless you're putting a lot of money down. A lot of money. So, really, is the tax cut hurting middle class America, as so many people are out there saying it is? No, I don't think so. So there's a lot of fake news going around about real estate and the tax cuts and all that kind of stuff. Let's go back here and look at some of the other stuff here that they. So yeah, they had to go to $1 million home with 20% down, $800,000 in financed amount before they can show you how it's going to hurt you with this change in taxes. Now, let me just flip over again. This is your fake news stuff. But at the end of the day, they're standing here saying the GOP plan doesn't touch your 401k. That's a huge opportunity to build wealth. Yes, it is. And with the real estate market skyrocketing right now, if you've got an extra $50, really, that's where it should be at. I mean, you're missing out on a lot of income that you could be gaining ground with. Let's look at this. This is interesting. So the House passed a bill. This doesn't give us much. So tax savings for single childless taxpayers under the Senate bill tax plan, $25,000. This is for a single childless taxpayer, so a single individual. Estimated annual tax savings, $369. Not a lot of money. Again, single family, no children, $75,000 income. You're going to see a $2,000 tax savings. $175,000 household income, a $5,000 tax savings. The Republican bill for the House, those numbers are much lower. So here's what your tax brackets are going to look like, or could look like. Everyone pays 10% federal income tax on their first $9,000 taxable income. Everybody pays 15%. This is a progressive tax, which is how they're billing this right now. So 10%, 15%, and 25%. Now, what this isn't telling you is your first $24,000 of income isn't being taxed under the Senate bill. I'm not exactly sure on the House bill. So 10% on your first 9,000, 15% on your next 9,000 to 37,000. So at your 37,900 mark, 37,950 plus your initial 24,000 that you're not paying any tax on. So the first $62,000, you're at 10% and 15%. Well, actually, no, we didn't add in the other 9,000. So plus 9,325. So you're over 72,000 household income for a single individual before this really starts kicking in. Or for household income, multiple individuals working. And then you're paying 25% federal income tax up to 91,900 for taxable income, and then you've got higher levels. This is so much cheaper than what it was. But people just don't realize it. You know, the higher income, they're paying more. You know, everybody squabbles about, you know, the top 1%. Well, I'm not in the top 1%. But I'll tell you what, if you want them to pay 75%, then everybody should pay 75%. If you want them to pay 75 cents on every dollar that they make, then everyone across the board should pay 75 cents on every dollar they make. Which means that if you're an average household and you make $55,000 a year, you're left with only $13,750 after taxes. You think you can live on that? Probably not. When you're taking those large numbers from the higher people, they can't reinvest. Do you think the government's investing your money wisely? No. You know how many nonprofit agencies are out there that they're sending your money to? How many Osama bin Ladens are we sending our money to? Like this ad, Veterans First VA Loans. Great company to work with. You know, so this is a side-by-side comparison. Standard deductions, $6,000. Now it's, on the House bill, $12,12. Senate bill's even $12,000. Personal exemptions currently $4,000. You're not going to have any exemptions, personal exemptions, moving forward. To simplify the budget, they're just giving you a higher deduction, standard deduction. Taxable income, $14,600 to $12,800 and $13,000 on the Senate. So approximate federal taxes owed, $1,700, $1,500, $1,300. So you can see how it's going to definitely be a savings. Potential federal tax savings, 202 or 369. $75,000 salary. Again, same numbers. Just at the end, it's showing that your higher taxable income, how much they're going to save on it. So yeah, the more money you make, the more money you're going to save, but the more money that you're paying in, you're paying in more money. So yes, you're potentially saving more money. I don't understand why so many people are going so bonkers about it. If you're only paying in on $3,000 a year, you shouldn't get $7,000 in tax return. Just saying. Just saying. If you're paying in $1,000, and I've heard this time and time again, people tell me, oh, with the child tax credit and this credit and that credit and this and that, I get a lot of money back. Okay, I get it. But you shouldn't be able to get more than 100% of what you paid in. Do you think? I mean, if you paid in $1,300 all year in taxes, you should only get $1,300 back in taxes. Period. Because those guys that are paying in the big dollars that you're screaming about, if they're paying in, so let's say a millionaire, somebody making $1 million. I think the new tax bracket for them is 35%. So at $1 million, easy math times 35%, they're paying in $350,000 of their income. Whereas you're getting 100% of your tax money back. Why should you be getting 400 times what you paid in? Just shouldn't work that way. I get it. Everybody's complaining, but I think the actual reality is everybody's going to save more of their money that they're putting into it. There's going to be less loopholes. There's going to be less headaches. And I mean, can you blame a guy who's paying in $350,000 in taxes to the federal government for trying to find loopholes? Can't blame him. New tax legislation, the way the Senate has it, it's going to get rid of a lot of those loopholes. And I think it's going to do wonders for real estate. I think folks will benefit better on their tax write-offs. You'll be able to buy more house because the calculation of your taxes are going to be reduced. All of those things come into play. All those factors come into play when you're looking at your DTI. So, I mean, I really, truly think that this is going to be a good scenario for the country. My vote's for it. I don't know what your vote's for, but I think it's going to help you buy a house. So what's the next topic for the night? Next topic is identifying how to buy a home. Really? After all of these years, people still don't understand buying a home. So I want to help you. So first, you want to find your realtor and lender and interview the two, or get a recommendation from your realtor to your lender. Last thing that you want to do is be online looking at houses for sale and wanting to go see houses that you're unqualified to buy, because once you see a $400,000 home, you're not going to want a $340,000 home. You know, once you see a $180,000 home, you're not going to want a $120,000 home. You know, there's different things about every house. And that's what people don't get is, you know, a lot of times people just think, well, I can afford X. Let's go on to, let's look at that, X. Because a lot of times I get people who call me and say, well, you know, I was on Zillow and I was looking at what the mortgage payment was. So let's just go. Everybody always likes new construction. So here what we're doing is we're pulling up some new construction and we're going to look at this. So on here, when we're looking at the new construction, great little Alexander plan in the Southern Village. Oh, and one thing I want to show you guys, if you're ever on Zillow and you're looking for who the listing agent is, the builder's actually pushing this out, E.G. Stoltzfus, not the realtor. You know, and if you go on to a lot of these listings, you'll be able to see down here, you know, who the builder is or who the agent is with the property. So EG's actually putting their own listings up here and paying for premium listings on them. So his price is $207.9 up, and it really doesn't here. Mortgage. Let's load this puppy up. Come on, Zillow, you can get it loaded up. Yeah, Zillow's website's run a little slow tonight. Comparable homes, home expenses. Now maybe we'll go back and try a different house. Maybe it's just that one house. Here, 97,000. Yeah, here. Estimated mortgage, $362 a month. I get people all the time that call me and say, I want to go see this house. We can afford this. Let's get a more expensive house because it'll get more interesting. So here's a 204 for sale by owner, 183 Waypoint Drive in Lancaster. And they're not giving the estimated mortgage on that either. Wowzers. Zillow, what are they doing? Okay, so here's $249,000 home. Estimated mortgage, $925. Yep, that's the estimated mortgage. But it's not your mortgage payment. So let's see if they give us the taxes. So here they're saying tax assessment for 2016 was $44.90. That may not be correct. Again, only 40% of what you see on Zillow is accurate. So let's go and let's just check the numbers. Ryder Avenue. Let's go to Bright. And guys, I'm going to pop back over to me while I'm doing this. BrightMLS.com. And I'll get logged in here. And I'm going to search address. Okay, so we're going to street number 33. Right. Okay, so we got 33 Ryder Avenue. And that gave us 0 matches. We got 2 matches. Search. So we got 2 matches, 2 listings. Oh, wow. So this is interesting. I'll show you guys. So this is on Zillow as residential. Now, let me show you Bright. So Bright has it, as you see here, as active and active. It's 2 listings. Both for the same address, 33 Ryder Avenue, 33 Ryder Avenue, Lancaster, Lancaster. Beds, 4 and 5. Well, how did it just grow a bedroom? 2.5 bath. Subtype services, single family residence. Same price. Commercial, residential. Okay, so let me flip back over to me while I go to the next step. Okay, so let me change the display here. Client full view. Okay, so here we've got all of the information. Residential, bedrooms 5, bathrooms 2.5. Tax year 2017. Total taxes $46.44, and Zillow had $44.90. Okay, so let's go back here and let's take the $46.44 divide by 12, because that'll be broke down over 12 equal payments. Yes. So take your mortgage, and Zillow was saying your mortgage was $925. And then you have your taxes to add in on that. So let's add the $387 a month in taxes. So plus $925. And then homeowners on a property that size, I don't know. What do you say, Joe? $1,300 a year. So that equates out to what, about let's just say $110 a month in homeowners insurance plus $110 a month. That puts you at about $14.25 a month in a payment. But that doesn't include PMI. Because Zillow's thinking you're putting 20% down. and using a conventional loan. So if you're using FHA and you get a funding fee that gets added into the loan, or you're using USDA and you get a funding fee that's getting added into the loan, it's going to be another $175 more expensive. So that's why it's vital. Hire your realtor. Hire your mortgage rep. Those two things can be done fairly easily, effectively. Hire a good realtor who's there to work for you, that's knowledgeable, that's going to help you. And then take a recommendation. Once you sign that buyer agency agreement with that agent, you can talk about what it is you're looking to do and what your finances are, because that realtor now has agreed that they're not going to share any of your information. You're going to keep it confidential. So now talk to them about your loan and financing, and, let them recommend the best mortgage loan officer for you. And then once you've got the loan officer, interview 2 or 3, because personalities may clash. Talk to one, and if you don't get a good feeling, go to another. Interview a bunch of agents, hire one, interview a couple of loan officers. But if you take recommendations from your realtor, you're probably going to wind up with a good loan officer, unless you're working with one of those big franchise shops where they do everything in-house, and they're going to just jam the square peg into the round hole and beat it till it fits or it can't fit. Or unless you're doing your online application through, those lending trees or something like that, where they're going to plunk you in an FHA loan no matter what. So, where was I? Just going to jam you in a square peg in a round hole. So getting the right loan officer for your situation, because they're not all the same, just like realtors aren't all the same. You want somebody who's going to represent you and make it happen for you. Not all lenders are good at everything. A lot of lenders do a lot, but it doesn't mean they're good at all of them. So, make sure that you're getting the right person. Make sure that you're getting the right loan officer for your credit, for your income, for your type of loan. Okay? So that $925 mortgage on Zillow over here turned out to be a $1,400 a month payment. People call me all the time. Oh, well, I can afford $925. Well, I'm sure you can. Can you afford $1,400? Well, no. Well, why would it be $1,400? Well, because you got to add in the taxes, your PMI insurance, you got to add in your homeowner's insurance. All of these other things got to go into play. Now suddenly, whoa, can't afford that. But they wanted to go see the house. They called, they want to see the house. They have no clue what they're qualified for. And they want to run realtors around to look at houses that they have no clue whether they're qualified. And buyers, I love you guys. I love you guys. But you got to dial it down a little bit. Because we can't make an offer without the pre-qualification letter. And in today's market, it's a seller's market. So if you see a house today, you know the old adage, you know it. House has been on the market for 180 days. On the market for 180 days. You go and look at it. Call your lender and say, hey, I found the house that I really want. Okay, here, I'll call you tomorrow. I'll give you all the information tomorrow. Yep, okay, bye-bye. Tomorrow comes. Yeah, John, yep. Okay, yep, here's all of our application information, blah, 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 blah. Now, I'll give you a call later today or tomorrow and let you know you're pre-qualified. Okay? Now, 2 days later, you come back to me and say, hey, that house, we want to write an offer on it. Great, there's 3 offers in already. Really? Yeah. Just the way it works. When you find the house that you like, because it's the only thing on the market that you liked, you're bound to have other people that want to buy that house because it's the house that they like now, too. You know, there's nothing we can do about it. But if you got your pre-approval and you got your buyer agency signed with your agent, and now you go out and you find your house, you look at 4 or 5, you make an offer on one, and you negotiate like a dog. Get the best deal you can. Best deal. Give me a call, 717-947-8037. We'll squeeze the best deal out. That's the best part of my job. I love the negotiation. I love figuring out how we can work a great deal for everybody. I didn't say a perfect deal. I didn't say a steal of a deal. A great deal for everybody. So let's take this 33 Ryder Avenue and let's look at a report on the property. Wowzers, look at that. So their list price is $249,900. The average market price is $238,190. Their estimated range, 204 to 271, depending on condition. Last 1 month, the area this property is in went down in value on an average of $2,140. Living space is 2,730. Average last 12 months, stagnant. Details about the property: bedrooms 4, bathrooms 3, 2 full, 1 half. So back here when Bright was showing 5 bedrooms, I bet you one of them's an illegal bedroom. I mean, there's only 26 pictures in an area where they could have hundreds. But pretty good pictures. They're not bad at all. Just not enough to tell the story. No Matterport, no nothing. It's not getting advertised around the world, which is going to attract a out-of-the-country buyer because they can't see but these 26 pictures. It's not going to be enticing to them. Built in 1910. It's only a partial basement. Look at the market stats. So this house, values climbed higher than the market in the zip code, which is down here still, the county, which is up here, and the state, which is up here. So that house is outperforming all averages. And they still listed higher than the average AVM. So to me, that means this house literally has to have a brand new heating system in it, brand new cooling system in it, brand new windows, brand new countertops, top of the line, or some of those things, because you're 10 grand overpriced. 270, everything should be completely remodeled. And when you're at the top of that price point, you should be completely remodeled. Brand new appliances, just perfection. Because it's going to reflect in an appraisal. So even if you get a buyer in and says, I'll pay the $249.9, and it only appraises for $238 in average plus condition, now you're back at the drawing table. Or this homeowner is sitting on this property waiting for the agent to say, hey, by the way, I think you should lower your price. Highest and best use. Is commercial highest and best use? You know, that's the question. And if it's not, why do they have it listed as commercial? You know, why not listed as residential with commercial possibilities? Do they have a commercial approval? Do they have zoning approval? It's in Hamilton Park, Lancaster Township. This zoning's commercial. So that's probably why they listed it as commercial. Is highest and best use residential? You know, it looks staged to me. But again, you can see here, it has the old radiators. You know, it doesn't show any pictures of the furnace or anything like that, so we really don't know what's doing there. We know it doesn't have central air. There's an air conditioner hanging out of the house. So why would you overprice a house like this? Because I'll tell you that the other homes in the area that it's comping against, I bet you they have central air. I bet you. So you should be taking a deduction for not having central air. Now again, this should be a realtor's starting point. This is average. You go up when you have increased in value. You go down when you have decreased in value based on the average home that you're comping against. So I'm concerned. But they have it listed as 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. It's only a 4-bedroom on public record. Garage. They're only asking for cash or conventional, so chances are it won't go FHA or VA. Let's go over here and check this out. Type of financing. That's first day on the market. Yep. Acceptable financing, cash and conventional. So that tells me as a realtor that there's potentially issues with this property. That tells me that there's potentially issues with the property. And the agent suggested not offering it as FHA or USDA. But it's also zoned commercial, so you could, if highest and best, even if you want to buy that for a residential house, if highest and best use is deemed to be commercial, you're going to have to get a commercial loan for it. You know, so there are some lenders, but that will vary on that. But generally, rule of thumb is highest and best use. What is that property's best use in its current condition? Is it residential? Is it commercial? So, I think people need to realize that they need to watch what they're getting and have a smart agent helping them. Mortgage record. This is always fun because people always call me and say, well, what do you know about it? What can you find out? Well, I can find out a lot, but if you didn't sign a buyer agency agreement with me yet, let's get that done first. That way we can talk freely. So, mortgage record. They purchased a house. The lender name was ABN AMRO Mortgage Group, Inc. Borrower is a married man as his sole and separated property. Mortgage company. That's interesting. Borrower ID, married man as his sole and separate property. Loan type unknown. But he borrowed $208,000 on it in 2002. I don't know. Square footage price, you can't build that thing for $92 a square foot. Not possible. They took it in both names, took possession in both names. He added Bridget to the deed in 2009. He transferred a portion of the value of the home to her, husband and wife. So if you pulled this up in tax record right now, it's probably going to show $1. But he took a loan out against it in 2002 for $208. Interesting. So he doesn't owe this. We're not seeing a second loan on here. So making an offer of $238 shouldn't be a horrible offer. But this is why you want to have a good agent, because they should be able to pull these records, look at what's going on, give you value recommendations on it, and not just throw you to the wolves. But you should listen to those value recommendations too. Most buyers don't. And that hurts people from time to time. So I hope we helped you. We didn't have any call-ins tonight. It looks like slow night. Maybe everybody's getting ready for Christmas shopping. Still maybe hunting. But I had a blast talking with you guys tonight. Our overall viewership, it looks pretty high. I mean, it looks like we had about 1,100 people across the web watching us tonight. Yeah. Looks like we had a good viewership out there. But all in all, I think, we taught you a few things tonight. We helped you out with a few things, and I'm going to call it a night here. Till next week, have a great day.